Hi, my name is Anya, and today I'll be making some Japie gunsteling while talking about the Andre Standers case. One of my viewers recommended it, so I'll be covering it today. So if you like this video, give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Leave your suggestions in the comments of stories you want me to cover, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified every time I upload.
If you're new to my channel, welcome. Today I'll be talking about the Andre Standers case while making Japie gunsteling. Disclaimer, I am telling the case as I perceived it. I mean no disrespect to the victims or the victim's family. Let me know in the comments if I missed something about the case. Today I'll be speaking about Andre Standers. He was a South African policeman turned criminal, more specifically a bank robber. I'll be sharing a brief background story. Andre was born on the 22nd of November 1946 in South Africa. He was a captain in the police force, and his father was a major general in the South African prison service. Andre robbed his first bank when he flew to Durban in 1977. This would only be the start to his bank robbing adventures. Between the years of 1977 and 1980, he is believed to have robbed nearly 30 banks and stole close to 100,000 rand. During this time, the police were trying to catch the bank robber, but unbeknownst to them, Andre would often rob banks during his lunch break and arrive at the scene as an active police officer. Like honestly, this part of the case is so funny to me. Like really, imagine instead of actually eating your lunch during your lunch break, you're like, no, let me rather go rob a bank. Unfortunately for Andre, he was caught and sentenced to 75 years in prison on the 6th of April 1980. Yet his charges ran concurrently, so he actually only faced 17 years in prison. He was often asked what his motives were. He never gave a clear answer, yet some have speculated that Andre, who served his national service in Angola during the South African Border War, may have been tired with civilian life and searched for something exciting, thus leading him to rob banks. But this is just a speculation. While in prison, Andre met two inmates, Alan and McCall. After a few years in prison, Andre started the Standard gang. On the 11th of August 1983, Andre and McCall, as well as 5 other inmates, were taken for a physiotherapy appointment. During the appointment, they managed to escape. After their escape, they returned to Zonderwater on the 31st of October 1983 to help Alan escape as well. The three were once again reunited, and you would think, okay, they are going to hide from the police and live a quiet, normal life, but you would be wrong. They started robbing banks again. Another unbelievable thing about this case is that South African citizens actually liked the Stander gang, and they would shelter the gang from the police. The Stander gang had a simple rule: no shouting and no violence, and I think this is one of the reasons why South African citizens actually liked this gang. They didn't do this work just for the violence. They did it just to get as much money as possible and just to get out as quick as possible. Andre was also a master of disguise. This greatly helped him during his time as a criminal. One of their most famous robberies was in January of 1984, when they robbed 3 banks in less than an hour. Like, how is that even possible? But soon after, tragedy hit this gang. On the 30th of January 1984, McCall was killed in a police raid. Alan fled to Greece, then England, then Spain, and back to England again, where he was apprehended and sentenced to 17 years. Then he was extradited back to South Africa to serve 33 more years. He was released on parole on the 18th of May 2005. Andre fled to the United States. This is where he got a fake ID. He bought a car with said fake ID, and shortly after he bought the car, he was pulled over for driving an unregistered vehicle. The police saw that his ID was forged, so they took his car and released him. Yet the very same night, he broke into the police impound and stole the car back. He then took the car to be repainted at the same dealership where he bought the car, and then he used a bicycle to cycle back home. This doesn't sound real, but it is real. It sounds like a movie to me, how unreal this is. Like how he steals his car back. Why didn't he just get a new car? He used the bike to get home, and this is when an American officer noticed him. They fought over the shotgun, and unfortunately the gun went off and Andre was shot. He was bleeding so much that he passed away before the ambulance arrived. The last remaining member of the Stander gang wrote a book titled Bank Robber, My Time with Andre Stander. To this day, Andre Stander still remains as a person who embarrassed the government by robbing banks while being an active police captain. And that was the story of Andre Standers. I hope you enjoyed the story, and tune in next week Tuesday for another crime story.